We understand the necessity of goods and services that is needed for the hour by the economy. It is not a country which has done things just because others have asked them to do it. The PPF is also referred to as the production possibility curve or the transformation curve. Economics is all about satisfying the needs and wants of the citizens of the country. Good morning and welcome to the third session in Introduction to Microeconomics, where we are going to talk about an interesting topic called as the production possibility frontier. Though the name looks so interesting, so big, but then it has got a very significant importance when we are talking about the production, when we are talking about the development of an industrial unit. Now let's try to understand the concept of production possibility frontier. In a business analysis, the production possibility frontier is a curve that illustrates the variation in amounts that can be produced out of the two products if both depend on the same finite resource for their manufacture. Now look at the combination that I'm trying to talk about. I'm trying to talk about a curve that will illustrate that will explain us what variation that will happen in amount that can be produced by two products if they have the same finite resource for manufacture. So the resource is limited. That's the first thing that we have to learn. In microeconomics, at the beginning itself, we have learned this concept that resources are limited. That is the reason there is a problem of choice that is being found in economics. So when I say the resources are limited, the production will also have to be on a judgmental basis, on a limited basis. You cannot take the production to an unlimited scenario. You have to be very calculative in terms of producing the variation. So what we are trying to look here is that if you're going to produce two kinds of product from the same finite resource, you will have to be very careful about the option of inputs that you are going to use. Now, moving further, this plays a very crucial role. Why? Because at any point, any nation's economy reaches its greatest level of efficiency only when it produces the best qualified to produce and trades with the other nations or what the rest of the world needs. Now for India, when you talk about production, when you talk about agriculture, mining, metallurgy, manufacturing, or any of those sectors, India has been very, very clear about what it wants to do. It is not a country which has done things just because others have asked them to do it. But then India has been a country which is very, very clear. Its speculations are very, very objective enough in terms of picking up a particular project or a particular idea. So whenever we have done agriculture or whenever we have done some manufacturing activity, we have been able to concentrate on the efficiency to the highest level possible. It is not just that India took up the idea of becoming the world's leader in manufacturing ability. We took that judgment, we took that decision quite on a constructive mode. Why? Because we know that only when we are able to produce what is best qualified, what is best for us, that is what the world will also demand for us. We are a leader when it comes to agriculture, dairy products, and we are also a leader when it comes to electronics or probably even in terms of IT-enabled services. But we have been quite judgmental on the factor that what kind of resources to be used, where the inputs have to go, at what level they have to go, and how we have to quantify it and how we have to produce it. So every instance, India has been very, very careful about whatever they are doing and how they are trying to produce something in this particular aspect. The next thing is that the PPF is also referred to as the production possibility prosperity curve or the transformation curve. Now let me just take up this word called as transformation curve. I'm going to transform something here. So when I say this word, if you look into the aspects here of production, you would be able to see with the same amount of limitation the productions of a particular object like computer, how we have been able to grow with it. Now, as I move further, look at the factors that we are going to do it. If I'm going to manufacture a gun, the quantity of gun produced versus the quantity of better producers, that's what we are trying to look here. So you will be able to see a transformation curve that's happening here. That's trying to tell me how exactly I can produce a particular item, a particular product better than the other factor. Now, an economy may be able to produce itself all the goods and services it needs to function using the production possibility frontier as a guide. So if India today decides that let us produce more of rice and wheat rather than producing missiles and machine guns, then India has made a very intelligent decision. Reason being is that we have used PPF there. Every single decision that our country makes, we are using this PPF, that is the production possibility frontier. Why? Because we understand the necessity of goods and services that is needed for the hour by the economy. Now, we are a country who have believed this factor that economics is not just about numbers. Economics is not about just showing some percentages. Economics is all about satisfying the needs and wants of the citizens of the country. So in that context, India has always thought very clearly what we need to do, how we need to execute it, and at what levels we have to do it. So with that context in mind, economy has always been looking for PPF as a guidance value, as a factor, as a matter of importance, where we have tried to see that we want to develop this particular activity, we want to grow on this particular activity, and we want to make this activity as the best one as far as possible. So we choose the right products, we choose the right services, and then we start developing it all together. However, this may actually lead to an overall inefficient allocation. Now that's where we are trying to understand. Suppose we are not able to allocate the resources properly. Suppose we are not able to find out the correct allocation, what is exactly needed, where we need it, and how we need to do about it. That means there would be a hindrance in the future because we will not have enough resources, and our trade and the growth prospects will also get completely affected. So in the long run, what we are expecting is that if there is a proper allocation of resources and guidance that is being done at every level, then automatically the growth is guaranteed. So that's what the provident, that in terms of the growth factor, that is the production possibility frontier, typically tells us and guides us at all levels. Followed by, consider a hypothetical world where you see that there are only two countries, A and B, and two products, that is cars and cotton. Now each country can make cars and or cotton. Suppose that country A has a very little fertile land and an abundance of steel, and country B has abundance of fertile land but very little steel. Now you can look here, both of them having a complementary factor, A over B and B over A. Now for A, they can concentrate more on the production of car because there's an abundance of steel, and B on the production of cotton since they have an abundance of fertile land. That's exactly where we are bringing in the production possibility frontier. Make the best use of the resources that you have so that you will be able to take it further and you will be able to grow the progress of your country. Now, with that, I come to the end of this particular situation and session. I hope and believe that all the information that is provided through this session would be of a great help and resource to you. In the upcoming sessions, we shall discuss more about microeconomics. But until then, stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay enlightened forever. Thank you once again for joining me today on this wonderful session.